Good morning everyone and welcome to today's English lesson. So this week we've been thinking about poetry and shape poems in particular. We started the week by looking at alliteration, which was sentences that included lots of words with the same initial sound. To end last week we looked at similes, where you compare one object to another object, as yellow as a banana, for example. And then the last couple of days we spent looking and planning our own shape poems. So I've got my brainstorm here that I shared with you yesterday on my Google Slides presentation. I've just printed it off so that you can see it and I can see it while we write it. Now on the Google Slides presentation today, I have included some examples of pages that you could use to write your poem on. Now you could draw this yourself and then draw the lines on, like I've done. Or if you have got a printer and you wanted to, you can print it off. Or if you really wanted to, you could type it. But it is always good to practice our writing as well for our handwriting's sake. So I would like to see some handwritten ones as well. But you can choose which method you would like. So here is my shape. I've got last week's success criteria. Show you here. I can't sit down because Sooty's here today. Say hello, Sooty. So last week we thought that poems could be split up. A sentence doesn't have to be on one line. It can go over multiple lines. Last week we looked at rhyming words. You don't have to do rhyming words this week, but you can if you want. And of course we have to have our capital letters, finger spaces, full stops. Now I've put today's success criteria that some of us on the Zoom call created yesterday, and we thought that our poems needed to have capital letters, full stops, and finger spaces. Whether you're typing or whether you're writing, they must always have capital letters, full stops, and finger spaces. We thought that we should have some adjectives, some describing words. When we looked at the poems yesterday, a lot of them were just black and white, and that was a little bit boring, we thought. So maybe we could add some colour. You might want to, around the outside of yours, obviously I've got a whiteboard with lots of writing on, but on your piece of paper you might want to draw some pictures around. So I could maybe have some stars or the moon, put some sunglasses, whatever I want around that matches my poem. And then of course we have the challenge is to try and use alliteration and similes. So that is what's up on here. So everyone today is going to be writing at least two, you can do more if you want, at least two sentences inside your object shape. The middle challenge is to try and use alliteration. Now alliteration, remember, was the same letter. So if I'm doing the sun, I could use lots of s words to make sure that I tick off that element. And then if you really want to challenge yourself, you could try and include a simile. Compare it to something else. And my examples were on my thing. As hot as fire is a type of simile. So today we need to look at our brainstorm and we need to think how we can put these words into sentences. Now how could I start my poem? What words could I use to start it? What am I writing a poem about? That's right, the sun. So maybe I could start it with the sun. The sun. Now we need to also remember that we always write on the lines. Our letters can't be floating, they need to be touching the lines. We need to make sure which ones are tall, which ones are medium sized. So the sun. The sun is yellow, the sun is hot, the sun gives us light and life. The sun is high in the sky. Oh, high sky, that's a bit of a rhyme. How could I start? I think I'm going to do the sun is yellow, so I've ticked that one off. And then I'm going to cross that out, so I'm going to use that one. And as hot as fire. Full stop. So I've got one sentence so far, remembering that I need to have two. I've got one sentence, but it's used up 3 lines because I can't go outside of my shape. because that's the idea of a shape poem. It fills the shape of the object. So the sun is yellow and as hot as fire. So I've already got my similes covered, but I haven't done the alliteration. Now, what could I say? Here's my alliteration down here. I've got scorching and sphere. Monkey, down. I've got scorching and sphere. They're my words. I might be able to think of some more. The scorching sphere gives us sunlight, or just light. Scorching sphere. Oh no, spelt it wrong. So I can get a rub and rub it out. Or you can just cross it out and write it next to it. Hello, mischief. You can just about see mischief's paw down here. The scorching sphere gives us sunlight. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Not the best alliteration, maybe you could do better. The scorching sphere gives us sunlight. Full stop. So I've now used those two. I could then finish by saying the sun is high in the sky. Just because I've got a little bit of space, so I'm going to add a third sentence. The sun is, remember the is not actually a z, it's a s. The sun is, trigraph I in the sky, full stop. So now I've filled out my shape, I don't need to cram more in. You might want to do a second poem. So let's read my poem. I've got, the sun is yellow and as hot as fire. The scorching sphere gives us sunlight. The sun is high in the sky. Does that give you lots of information all about the sun? I hope so. Have I used my capital letters and my full stops? Can I be green? So have I got capital letters? I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3. And actually I've started my sentences all the same. Like our I like poem, all my lines start the same. My sentences all start with the sun, the scorching. So yes, I've definitely got that. Have I got my full stops? I've got 1, 2, 3. Yep, I've got those. Have I got finger spaces? Yep. Now, have I used any adjectives today? Oh, I've got yellow, I've got hot, I've got scorching. I've only got 3, but I've got some. Have I used colour? Not yet, so this is going to be my next step. And pictures are going to be my next step. I could fill up the board around the outside with those. Have I used alliteration? Well, I've got scorching sphere, sunlight. And I use similes, hot as fire. So therefore, I've met all of our success criteria today, and I've written a poem. And I've used my ideas from yesterday. So that's why it's very, very important to make your own brainstorm. So it gives you ideas of what to put today. And I just joined some of these up to make it into a sentence. So hopefully you can all have fun, and I'm going to get lovely poems for you all that I can make a poetry book out of. That's mischief, of course. So go away now, have a look at your brainstorm and have some fun writing your own poems. Go and be poets. Bye.